Welcome to Mysterious Cases, the podcast where truth freezes beneath layers of fear and the unknown waits just beyond the edge of what we understand. I'm Secret Man, and tonight I take you into the heart of the Ural Mountains, into the snow, into the dark, into one of the coldest mysteries ever recorded. This is the story of 9 young Soviet hikers, fit, trained, prepared, on a winter expedition across the icy wilderness of 1959. They never returned. Weeks later, rescuers found their tent torn open from the inside. No signs of a struggle. Footprints leading into the forest. Barefoot, in sub-zero temperatures. The bodies were found scattered in strange positions. Some died from hypothermia. Others suffered crushed skulls, broken ribs, and one was missing. Her tongue and eyes. And yet there were no signs of external wounds. No animal tracks. No avalanche debris. No logical explanation. For decades, theories have swirled. A secret military test? A freak of nature? Something not entirely human? In this episode, we dive deep into one of the most chilling unsolved cases in modern history. We'll retrace the final steps of those hikers, examine the physical evidence, and explore why, after more than 60 years, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains as terrifying and unsolved as ever. Bundle up. It's going to get cold. It began with promise. January 25, 1959. 10 students and recent graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute boarded a train in Sverdlovsk, now Yekaterinburg, on their way to the Siberian wilderness. All experienced hikers. All young. In their early 20s. All chasing a prestigious certification that required navigating through the harshest conditions of the Soviet backcountry. The group was led by Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old radio engineering student. Serious, disciplined, admired by his peers. Under his leadership, the team was well-equipped, warm clothes, supplies, maps, cameras, journals. They even brought a small stove to set up inside their tent. Nothing seemed left to chance. The original group had 10 members. But one, Yuri Yudin, turned back early due to illness. It would save his life. The other 9, Igor Dyatlov, Zina Kolmogorova, Ludmila Dubanina, Rustem Slobodin, Yuri Doroshenko, Alexander Kolevatov, Nikolai Thibault-Brignol, Semyon Zolotaryov, and Yuri Krivonishenko continued into the frozen unknown. Their route took them deep into the Ural Mountains, toward a remote peak known as Kholat-Syakhl in the Mansi language. It means Mountain of the Dead. Their last diary entries were cheerful. Photos taken during the journey show smiles, snowball fights, teamwork. They celebrated milestones along the trail. They built a snow cave for fun. There was laughter, music, even poetry written by flashlight inside the tent. And then silence. No one heard from them again. When they failed to report back by February 12th, no one panicked at first. Delays were common in the cold. But by the 20th, the university and families demanded a search party. What they found in the coming days would burn itself into history. The Dyatlov group had vanished, and the clues they left behind made no sense. February 26, 1959. 33 days after the hikers vanished, a volunteer search party, composed of students, teachers, and Soviet soldiers, finally spotted something unusual on the white slope of Kholat-Syakhl. It wasn't a body. Not yet. It was a tent, half buried in snow. Collapsed, slashed open. From the inside. Inside the tent, everything seemed frozen in time. Jackets, boots, food, cameras, untouched. Left behind. As if whatever happened had caused the hikers to flee suddenly, and without reason. And then they followed the tracks. Bare footprints, some from socks. Others completely barefoot, led away from the tent. downhill into the forest. The temperature at the time was around -30 degrees Celsius or -22 degrees Fahrenheit. 500 meters away, beneath a tall cedar tree, they found the first two bodies, Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko, both in underwear. No shoes. Their hands were burned, possibly from trying to stay warm near a small fire. Branches above them were broken, suggesting someone had climbed in panic or desperation. Between the tree and the tent, 3 more bodies were found. Igor Dyatlov, Zina Kolmogorova, and Rustin Slobodin scattered as if trying to crawl back uphill toward safety. Slobodin had a fractured skull, but no external wound. The others showed signs of hypothermia. It took over 2 months to find the rest. On May 4th, deep in a ravine, under several meters of snow, the final 4 were uncovered. Their deaths were unlike the others. Ludmila Dubinina had no tongue, no eyes, and missing parts of her face. Her ribs were crushed injuries, described by the coroner as comparable to a car crash. Semyon Zolotaryov also had severe chest trauma, yet no bruising or external wounds. Alexander Kolevatov and Nikolai Thibault-Brignol showed similar internal injuries. Some of their clothing contained traces of radioactive material. And still, there were no signs of a struggle, no evidence of another party, no weapons, no animals, nothing but a field of snow and silence. 9 hikers, all dead, all under circumstances no one could explain. The Dyatlov Pass incident had officially become a Soviet mystery one, wrapped in snow, silence, and suspicion. 9 bodies, a slashed tent, no signs of a struggle. Some froze to death. Others suffered trauma more violent than most car crashes. And no one heard a thing. More than 6 decades later, no single theory explains everything. Let's look at what has been proposed. Avalanche, it's the most accepted theory on paper. A sudden wall of snow crushes the tent. The hikers panic. They cut their way out. Some flee into the cold and die. But the slope was shallow. Rescue teams saw no signs of an avalanche. The tent and items inside were mostly undisturbed. And if it were an avalanche, why did some hikers walk calmly downhill instead of running? Katabatic wind, a rare, powerful wind phenomenon, like a knife of cold air sliding down a mountain. It's been known to sweep through tents and flatten camps in seconds. This could explain the panic, the decision to abandon shelter, but it doesn't explain the severe internal injuries, or why some of the group climbed trees, or why others buried themselves in a ravine. INFRAND panic. Another theory. A specific wind pattern caused low-frequency sound inaudible to humans, but capable of creating intense psychological distress, paranoia, fear, irrational behavior. Could the hikers have panicked, fled the tent, and separated in confusion? Possibly. But again, it doesn't explain the physical trauma. Military testing. Some believe the group wandered into a secret Soviet weapons trial. Strange orange lights were reported in the sky that night. Radiation was found on some of the hikers' clothes. But if it was a cover-up, why leave the bodies? Why allow public access to the site? And why let families retrieve the journals and photographs? Paranormal or supernatural forces. UFO sightings. Government silence. A mountain named Dead. The case has become a magnet for conspiracy. But as always, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And here, there's only absence, no footage, no witnesses, no message from beyond. No theory fits cleanly. The physical evidence conflicts with the psychological patterns. The trauma doesn't match the environment. And 9 trained hikers rational. Experienced don't just run into a snowstorm barefoot unless something forces them to. But what was it? To this day, We don't know. And maybe we never will. 9 lives ended on a frozen slope. No killer, no witness, no clear cause, just a tent, torn from within, and silence stretching across decades. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains unsolved, not because we lack theories, but because none of them make sense without leaving something behind. In the end, we're left with fragments, photographs of smiling faces, a journal that ends mid-sentence, and questions that have outlived every official explanation. Sometimes a mystery doesn't want to be solved. Sometimes the mountain keeps its secrets. I'm Secret Man, and this was Mysterious Cases. Stay curious, stay questioning, and when the facts don't fit, look closer.